Dear Bubby, Hannah climbed up the stairs here at the temple last night. All I wanted to do was call and tell you about it. You died right before Hannah was conceived and told us that when, not if, we had a daughter, we would name her Hannah. I suggested a different name, and you remained steadfast. Our daughter would be named Hannah, and she is. Beautiful, curious, spunky, serious, and wonderful Hannah Yael. I wish you could have met her. She reminds me of you in so many ways, not the least of which is that Hannah now purses her lips and breathes in and out like you used to do. It's challenging not to be able to pick up the phone and call you, even though in the last few years our conversations were more about bingo and your aches and pains than our hopes, dreams, and aspirations. I know how much our relationship meant to you. It meant the world to me too. The depth of your love was evident. Bubby, you gifted me your necklace with the words of Shema upon it. After you died, I wore it throughout my pregnancy, during ultrasound appointments, when I was worried about becoming a mother, and while I gave birth. Your necklace infused me with your strength, and it felt like you were a part of Hannah's entrance into this world. I wore it to Hannah's naming, and now I wear it on days when I need a little extra strength. I'm wearing it today. Bubby, you left me with your lessons of resilience. You outlived 2 husbands, the first of whom died suddenly of a heart attack while you still had 4 kids living at home. You went back to school to make sure you could support them and put dinner on the table every night. You met your second husband, my Zeta, David, and created a blended family. Your grit was evident in how you started a nursing program from scratch in Florida, among many other things. Not only that, but you lived with daily pain. I didn't know until I was older that you wore a back brace almost all the time due to disc pain. You made it seem like you were always happy to see us, to sit with us, to be our champion. You taught me how to play 2-deck solitaire, to make chicken cacciatore. I later learned you didn't like to cook, and to find joy even in sadness. You demonstrated that sometimes we show love not in grand ways, but by ironing the tablecloths, folding the napkins, and telling everyone else what to do. You also left me with a love for Judaism. For as long as I can remember, you made family and Jewish tradition a priority. We lit the candles every Friday night, no matter where we were, and you visited for the few weeks surrounding the high holidays. I vividly remember sitting between you and Zeta in the pews, fiddling with Zeta's talit, as we listened to Abba preaching and leading the service. And now I will pass these ideals and traditions down to Hannah. I love you, Bubby. Elana. Yom Kippur is a day when we contemplate our own mortality, considering how we live and the legacy we want to leave behind. We do so by first thinking of those who touched our lives, and in turn contemplating how we may honor their legacies. Our rabbis of old knew this, for the traditional Yizkor prayer reads, "May God remember forever my dear ones, and may my life always bring honor to their memory." Arriving at Yizkor brings the ache in our hearts to its sharpest point. Yizkor opens the doors to our souls, welcoming the myriad emotions and the sacred memory of our loved ones. We recall my Bubby, your husband, your mother, your child, your friend. A piece of each of us is missing. On this day, we hold their memories as we recall most vividly that our lives hang in the balance and that the gift of life is immensely fragile. For each person, we consider their legacy, how they remind us even now how to live to truly flourish. In fact, it can encourage us to look forward toward what legacy we wanted to bestow upon our loved ones. We read this morning in the book of Deuteronomy, "We set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life so that you and your children shall live." When we choose life, we are choosing to pass traditions from those who died on to the next generation, making the choice to live and flourish in pain is challenging, yet we cannot carry on the legacy if we forget. Rabbi Jonathan Sacks explains it this way: our covenantal connection to our past and our future means that our parents and grandparents live on in us. We live on in our children and grandchildren. They are a part of our life. We are a part of them. When we dedicate our lives to the faith and way of our life of our ancestors, they become immortal in us as we become immortal to our children. By honoring the memory of our parents and bringing up children to continue the Jewish story, we achieve the one form of immortality that lies on this side of the grave. Although we may believe life ends at death, it does not. As Rabbi Sacks teaches us, for with good work and cleaving to the covenant, our ancestors live in us, and we live on in our children. That is the Jewish lesson, the human lesson too. This service is about remembering those who came before us. The memories are what buoy us, what hold us up and move us forward. The lessons of our departed loved ones pave the road of our lives. So today and every day, we remember for the sake of memory and love. We remember our sister, to whom we spoke daily on the phone. We recall our pop, who had a joke for every occasion. We hold on to our friend who remembered everyone's birthday. These memories inform how we act, how we live, and how we love. They are the inheritance that we share with and provide for the next generation. This legacy is important because it is how we choose life. We are the conduits of their lessons, their hopes, and their love. The memory of those whom we have loved and lost, those memories are unique. As Rabbi Delphine Horvillier teaches, you only remember because what you remember changed you at the time. And the only way you will continue to remember is by continuing also to change. Memory is an active and living process. As we build new connections with our past, the relationship we commemorate is reenacted and kept alive in ourselves. In other words, we are continuously changing, adapting, and growing, and we allow the memory of those who came before to grow and change with us throughout our lives. Sometimes that comes in talking to our loved one who died. Sometimes it is sharing stories. Sometimes it is crafting the script of how we want to teach about them to the next generation. That script becomes our legacy and the legacy of those who came before. Memory can also inform and shape what we do for the future. For when we recall those we love, we don't often consider the endless hours they worked in the city or their yearly salary. We recall with fondness the times they sat with us, quietly reading a story or tucked us in at night. We remember the joy we both felt cooking side by side in the kitchen, or the power of sitting around a table playing dominoes or Liverpool rummy as we laughed late into the night. Time, joy, laughter, and so much more are the most powerful memories we carry from those we love and deeply inform how we act and respond in this life towards the next generation. Memory is how we consider legacy, both what we have received and what we want to leave behind. It is also the way we shape the story of who we are in this life. For the way we live our lives becomes the legacy for those who come after us. For me, my grandmother, my bubby, taught me so much about who I am as a person, a wife, a Jew, and now a mom. She made me want to be the best I could be, and I hope to pass that on to Hannah, her namesake, as her and now my legacy. That is how I and each of us will choose life in this moment. Friends, each of us had a bubby or many bubbies in our lives, maybe a grandparent, maybe a parent or sibling or partner or child, perhaps a teacher, a mentor, a friend. All of us have Hanas, those whom we teach or raise or inspire by our presence in their lives. On this Yizkor, let us recall to heart and mind the lessons and gifts those who came before left to us. And even in our grief and pain over our loss of their presence, may we use the memories we have to build the foundation for those whom we touch, who will become our own legacy. In so doing, we are connected, lador vador, from one generation to the next. As I began with a letter to my bubby, I end with a letter to Hannah. Dear Hannah, your great-grandmother, Henrietta Winkler Nemitoff-Bresler, was one of the strongest women and people I knew. She persevered through so much hardship and faced each moment with courage. Through her work as a nurse and later a professor of nursing, she brought healing and hope into this world. She would have loved your laugh. Hannah, you have somehow learned in your 10 brief months of life one of the greatest lessons my bubby taught me, that of quiet grit and determination. When she dedicated herself to something, whether moving across the country, being a grandmother, a great-grandmother, or finding joy, she did so with her whole being. Bubby did not allow the pain in our world, personal or political, to keep her from making a difference. May that determination continue to thrive within you, helping you explore the world. And when life gets you down or isn't as kind to you, may you have my Bubby's grit to help you get through. Hannah Yael, just as Bubby did for me, your dad and I will always encourage you when you struggle and elevate you when you need it. Just as Bubby was for me, we will be your biggest cheerleaders. Just as Bubby showed up for me, family will always be there for you. Your obligation is to learn the lessons from the one after whom you are named, just as I learned from Bubby. Find your place in the world and eventually stand on the foundation built for you so you can add to it, lador vador. I love you just as my Bubby loved me. Love, Ima. Friends, this is a glimpse into my legacy and the legacy I hope to leave to my daughter. Who do you remember today? What is their legacy to you? And to whom might you pass those gifts and lessons? We invite you to take this personal reflection time, sitting with this space and open hearts for these memories and these promises.